Hello everyone. I am at some math teacher meetings today, so I want you to just watch this video. I am on page 85, I believe. This is the page on completing the square. We worked on this in class last time. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do 2 more examples of completing the square, and then I'm going to give you a couple of examples that are not in your notes. And then after that, you'll have a worksheet to do in class today, as well as time to work on your Math Excel if you're not caught up on that. So make sure you're productive today. This is your extra instruction for completing the square, so please pay attention and please write this down in your notes. Again, we're on page 85. Okay, so let's look at problem number 2 on page 85. So in this problem, if we practice completing a square, remember completing a square is you are trying to find a number that you kind of pull out of the sky, and you want to find the number. I'm looking right here at number 1 up above. Find the number that completes the square. And the way that you do that, the process is you take this number 20, I'm going to write it over here, x squared plus 20x plus blank. I take the number 20, I cut it in half, that's 10. I square it and I replace the new number, 10 squared is 100, in the blank right there. And then what do I get? The factors of 100 that make 20 are going to be x plus 10, x plus 10. And because those are both exactly the same thing, I can write that as x plus 10 squared. Okay? Alright, so that's the process to complete the square. So let's go back to number 2. I'm going to take 6 after I leave a blank. So x squared plus 6x plus blank. And I'm going to move that 18 over to the other side. So it's now positive 18 plus blank. Alright, take the 6, cut the 6 in half. That's 3. 3 squared is 9. And I also put a 9 in the other blank. Now, x squared plus 6x plus 9. What are the factors of 9 that make 6? 3 and 3. Well, that happens to be the same number that we just got here when we cut the 6 in half. So that means the factors are x plus 3, x plus 3. And we write that as x plus 3 squared. And 18 plus 9 is 27. Now, this looks like a square root problem like we had a couple classes ago. We can square root both sides. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to come over here on the side. X plus 3 is now by itself because the square and the square root cancel each other out. And we're left with, let's see, square root of 27. We can simplify that. 9 times 3, 3 times 3. So that's a pair of 3's and a leftover 3. So x plus 3 is positive negative 3 root 3. From here, we can finish this by subtracting 3 from both sides. Now, wait a minute. This is plus minus 3 root 3, so we've got 2 answers coming up. This minus 3 in blue cannot be added to 3 root 3 in red because they are not like terms. So our answer is just x equals negative 3 plus or minus 3 root 3. That's it. Okay, go ahead and turn the page. And I wanted to do one more with you, problem number 6. So problem number 6 has a 4 in it, but we're in luck because 4 goes into 32 and 16. So we can take out a common factor. We take out 4, we're left with x squared plus 8x plus 4 equals 0. Now I'm going to back up a minute. Don't write that down yet. I made a mistake. I want to still move that 16 out of the way. So on the other side, I'm going to have minus 16 plus blank. I shouldn't have put that in the parentheses. Okay, now take 8, do the complete the square process, cut it in half, that's 4. Square it, that's 16, add 16 to the other side. Oh, we made a mistake again. Do not add 16 to the other side because this is not really 16. This is inside parentheses. That number is really 4 times 16, which is 64. So you added 64 to the left, you need to add 64 to the right. Now this is 4 times x plus 4 squared, And 64 minus 16, what does that equal? 48, I think. Let's double check. Yeah, 48. So that equals 48. Now it looks like a square roots problem. Divide by 4. X plus 4 squared is 12. Then we square root both sides. I'm going to draw it over here. X plus 4 is equal to 12 can factor to 4 and 3. 4 is 2 and 2, pair left over. So that's plus minus 2 root 3. Subtract 4 from both sides, and x is equal to negative 4 plus or minus 2 root 3. Okay, that's it for completing the square. Next, just watch these next examples, or you can follow along by writing them somewhere where you've got some space. I just wanted to show you 2 more problems. The first way to solve an equation that we learned is to solve by factoring. So let me just review this because you do have some of these on your assignment today. So we want to find the factors of negative 18 that make negative 7. And think about what those are. Hopefully you realize that they are negative 9 and positive 2. Now those are not your answers, those are just your factors. Now the answers are the opposite signs because we're trying to figure out what x is. So what would this x be? What would this x be to make those parentheses be 0? Positive 9 and negative 2, and that's your answer. Okay, then the second way we learn to solve an equation is with square roots. So in problem number 2, we want to get the x by itself. The 3 is in the way of the x being by itself and the squared, but we can't move the 3 until we move the square because the square is covering that whole parenthesis. So we need to square root first. Now this is x plus 3 all by itself, positive, negative. 30 always feels like it should be, you could simplify it, but it doesn't have any pairs. So plus minus root 30. Minus 3, and our answer is negative 3 plus minus root 30. Now, what if I had changed that problem ever so slightly? And what if I had made that problem x squared plus 3 equals 30? How would we solve it then? Well, we need to get x by itself, but the 3 is now outside of the square, so we're going to subtract 3 first, and then we'd square root both sides. 27's 9 and 3, 3 and 3, pair left over, so positive, negative, 3 root 3, and that would be the answer. So the difference between these two problems is this one, you had to square root first to get rid of the parentheses, and this one you were able to subtract 3 first to get rid of the 3 since the squared was not outside of parentheses. Okay? All right, that should help you with what you need for your assignment today.